Hey guys, hope everybody is doing all right. All right, we've got our last week before Thanksgiving break, so a lot of important stuff to go over, and then a few tips to kind of help you out on things you need to do later. So let's go through real quick. Monday and Tuesday is exam 4. That's going to cover chapters 9, 10, 11, and 12. So I know that sounds like a lot, but remember 9 and 10, that was the cell cycle and mitosis was 9. 10 was meiosis. Those two go together really well. 11 was the genetics lab, 12 was the molecular biology of the gene, which was DNA. They all fit together really well because they deal with how our cells reproduce and our genetic information. All right, so just be ready for that, prepare for that. About 75 questions on this exam. So that's not that many more than what we've had in the past. Just be aware of that. Like always, you'll have a minute per question. That has been more than enough time. So don't let that stress you out at all. So that's the first thing you're going to do this week, Monday and Tuesday. Make sure that you have it done by then. Remember, I'm still having issues. I've got students that are still getting zeros for doing things they're not supposed to on exams. So just remember to follow those environment video instructions. Make sure that you don't add anything to your environment afterwards, any of that. Most of you are doing great. Keep doing what you're doing. If not, pay attention. You don't need a 0 at the end of the semester. Other than that, you've got your discussion board, which is going to be, which is going to be due Sunday. That is on genetics. So this one's kind of interesting. This has something to do with like some recent, within the last few years, advancements that are taking place in genetics. And it's kind of controversial, but maybe getting rid of some of the genetic disorders that we've mentioned. So it's a couple radio stories that you need to listen. I've got the links. Watch that. And then this one's a little different. I want you to leave a pro and a con. So I'm not asking you to agree or to disagree with this procedure that they're doing. But what I want you to do is just think critically, think on both sides. What is a positive that could come from this type of procedure? What is the negative that could come from this type of procedure? It's good to think about problems that way and kind of actually deliberate instead of just picking a side. All right? Other than that, your last lab, so that is great news. It's your last lab for the entire semester, is on genetics, plant breeding, and selection. It's going to have a lot to do with Punnett squares and things that we talked about in chapter 11, but there is also a math section that we really did not discuss. We're going to do chi-square analysis, which is a way that we can figure out if a trait occurs or if a trait does not occur. We can figure out if that's due to chance, if it's just randomly something happened, or if there might be like an outside source that is affecting that. So it's really interesting, but I know this isn't a math class. So to help you out with that, I have recorded videos where I'm working through some sample problems, and I was actually able to embed those in hands-on labs. So all you have to do is open up hands-on labs like normal, read the background information, read your instructions, and then in there will be like little windows or little videos. And if you click on that, I'll work through some sample problems for you. All right? So the heads up is that this takes 4 hours to complete. It says there's an estimated 4 hours to complete this lab. It's definitely the longest one that we've had this semester. I've had some students say it really wasn't that bad and it didn't take them that long. If you've had like statistics before, you're probably not going to see anything that's too scary on this. But some students say it takes every bit of 4 hours, maybe a little bit more. So what I'm doing to help you out with this. Now, if it were me, I would go ahead and do it this week because that way you don't have to worry about anything over Thanksgiving break. But I'm going to make this due next Sunday, which is November 29th. All right. That way, if you're busy with other classes, I know a lot of times instructors like to give tests right before a break. So if you've got other tests and other classes and you need to focus on those, you can do that. And then you will have Thanksgiving week to do this last lab assignment. All right. College, we don't have classes during Thanksgiving break, so you're not going to have anything new next week to do. So you can feel free to take that time if you want to. If it were me, though, I'd go ahead and do it this week, and that way you can actually have a break where you don't have to think about biology at all for a whole week. I think we could all probably use that, me included. So just be aware of that. You can go through. There shouldn't be anything you have to go to the store and get. You have to have a camera or a smartphone just to take pictures of your work and things like that. Calculator, pen, pencil, coin. You're going to have to flip a coin several times. So just things like that. All right. Okay, last one, and this is really important, is that Friday, November 20th, so before Thanksgiving break, Friday, November 20th, is the last day to withdraw from any fall semester classes. So what I want everyone to do, I know I've said this the last couple weeks, I want everybody to look at your average. Like right now, as soon as you're done watching this, pull up your grade book, go to My Grades, see what your average is. If you are failing or if your grade is lower than you need your final grade to be, like if you know I have to have a C for this to transfer and I've got like a 65D right now. If that's the case, I want you to get in touch with me. I want you to contact me, and I can look real quick and tell you what it's going to take for you to finish with whatever grade you're shooting for, all right? If you're doing good, keep doing what you're doing. I'm not trying to make it sound like a ton of people need to drop or anything, but if you come to that decision, and talk to me first before you do this, but if you come to that decision that you're going to have to drop this course, you have until Friday to do that. After that point, if you don't drop before the 20th, then you are stuck in the class, and whatever grade you end up with will be the final grade you receive. All right. So like I said, any questions about that, let me know. Not trying to make it sound like a bunch of people need to drop. If you're doing great, keep doing what you're doing. If you have questions, this week is the last week to let me know about that. All right. And the deadline is Friday, like at 11:59 p.m. But I will not be available after 11:30 is when I'm like off the clock or whatever. So as soon as that last grade, as soon as that your exam 4 is done, look at your average and let me know then, because that's the last big grade that you're going to have before you have to make that decision. All right. Need anything? Let me know, and I'll be glad to help.